The magic is back for the Milwaukee Brewers. That home field magic, that regular season magic that we've seen so many times from the Milwaukee Brewers. Well, it is back. And the Brewers win another one, two in a row now, and win it in terrific fashion. Got a great pitching performance. We'll talk about all that, look ahead to the Reds, and see who's starting to turn it around for the Brewers. That's next here on Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Good to have you along. Yeah, what a win. 3-2 in 11 innings. In case you didn't see the game, Brice Turang, walk-off squeeze play to finish off the game. Caught the Royals completely off guard. We'll get to that coming up here in a little bit. And an amazing pitching performance from Freddy Peralta. Chuck Freeman, Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. This episode brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets when you hit your first $5 bet when that wins at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. All right, yeah, this game, at the end, you're going to see all the highlights, whatever they do show on TV these days, of the squeeze play by Brice Turang. But this was Freddy Peralta's day. Freddy Peralta set down 19 in a row, 8 innings pitch, 97 pitches, a 2-hitter. Gave up a run on 2 hits in the second inning, and then set down 19 in a row. He was that good. That was ace-like stuff there. Now, do we see that all the time for Freddie? No, we don't. Because he's not an ace. But he had some ace-like stuff. He was great. No walks as well. 0 walks. It was just a dynamite performance from Freddy Peralta. And every time he has a performance like this, we're like, maybe he is going to be that top of the rotation ace that we're looking for. He always teases us with these type of outings. Last year, he had the 20 scoreless innings, and we're thinking, yeah, Freddie's turned the corner. Didn't give up any home runs today, no home run balls. Gave up 2 in the opening series on opening day against the Yankees. But Freddie was great, and I thought the bullpen followed that up, and they were terrific as well. And right now, the Brewers are starting to put things together. I've been in the locker room the last couple of days, and when they win, and some of the players, I don't know who that team was in the first 4 games, but this is the team that we really are. We just got off to a little bit of a slump there, and maybe that's so. But some of the signs are coming back. The Brewers playing a low-scoring game, leaning heavily on their pitching staff. That's the way the Brewers play. I hear people say that the Brewers score runs. They got this offense. Their offense is going to be great. But look back at their pitching last year. It's their pitching. I thought that really held them tight and won a lot of close games for them last year. And you look at Tuesday, 5-0, and then the pitching that got them to win on Wednesday, allowing just 2 runs. Abner Uribe gave up a run in the top of the 10th inning. And then the Brewers, they were leaving guys on the base paths all day long. Bases loaded in the 10th. They couldn't score a run. They did score a run, but then they loaded the bases. On Churio's double, they loaded the bases, nobody out and couldn't score. 7th inning, loaded the bases, nobody out, couldn't score in a tie game. So it's your classic Milwaukee Brewers game. Strand, 14 runners on base, strike out 17 times, but get a great pitching performance, and everybody follows suit in 2 days in a row. Where on the heels, just amazing. We were just talking 2 days ago about how bad the pitching was, and is it going to turn around? Because they had given up 3 double-digit run games in a row. Well, here they do. They come back, and they get 5 players combined on a shutout on Tuesday, and then Freddy Peralta and company get the job done on Wednesday afternoon. But, man, can't say enough about how good of a win that was. And yeah, Yeah, you want to win that game. You want to get you want to get back to the 500 mark. Is it possible to get back to the 500 mark by the time the Brewers go to Colorado on Tuesday? Because they have a day off Monday, Colorado. So they got a 4-game series with the Reds. They got to go 3-1 against the Reds. We'll talk more about that series a little bit later on in the podcast. Reds are playing teams tough. They're just not winning. Just not winning. They're not scoring runs either. But Jackson Chourio, could he be heating up for the Milwaukee Brewers? Could Jackson Chourio be turning, after that slow start, that 5 strikeout day in the opening game of the year? He has been amazing. And he had a home run early in this game. And then he had the tying double late in the game in extra innings. And seems to be getting good at bats. Now, I was surprised the Royals, quite frankly, pitched to him. There was an open base. They decided to pitch to him in the 7th inning. He grounded the third, made their decision look like the right one, but I was just surprised that they pitched to him. I would never, if a first base is open late in the game in a tie game, I would never pitch to that guy. I don't care what kind of slump he's in. I would never, ever pitch to him. So let's look at some of these batting averages right now for the Brewers and who's turning it around, because there's some guys, quite frankly, some of these averages are just putrid. Just putrid. And the Brewers are winning it with pitching right now. And they were losing these games very early in the season with pitching. But offensively, Brice Turang, he was terrible up until that final at bat. He had been 0 for 5, 3 Ks, and then he lays down that beautiful bunt. And by the way, Murph said at the press conference afterwards, he said he told him and Turang had a little bit of a conversation. He said, drop a little bunt down there. He said, this is what they're going to throw you. Drop a bunt down. He did. And Turang's one of their better bunters and caught the Royals completely off guard. Completely. So much so that the pitcher for the Royals, I forget his name, or reliever, there was one out. He was so discombobulated that he tried throwing to first base. A wild throw, but why is he throwing to first base? The winning run is scoring. He's trying to throw to first base. Did he forget how many outs there were? He's throwing to. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Okay, he's scrambling because, again, the Brewers have done this before where they catch a team off guard. They caught the Royals off guard. The Royals had no clue what hit them. Turang lays down that bunt. Pitcher charges, and he's bobbling it, and it's the Keystone Cops. He throws to first base wildly. I don't know what he was thinking there. And that's how the Brewers win. Catching teams off guard like that, outsmarting the other team. And that's what the Brewers did again. They're so good at that. How are the Royals not prepared for the squeeze bunt there? How are they not? You got Turang up, man at third, struggling at the plate. God. And the Royals are playoff contenders? Not with that kind of managing. Not with that kind of managing. So you leave 14 guys on base, you strike out 17 times, and yet you win the game because your starting pitcher, kept you in it by setting down 19 in a row at one point. All right. We come back. We're going to look at some who's turning it around for the Brewers. And some of these guys aren't turning it around at all. We'll get to all that coming up next here on Locked On Brewers. Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Wonderful Pistachios, terrific sponsor here on Locked On Brewers. Looking for that snack that's both delicious and nutritious. Well, crackin, a good source of protein with wonderful pistachios, the highest protein nuts out there. Each 1 ounce serving, 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber, better for you unsaturated fats, and it'll keep you fuller longer. Like I say, when I get done my afternoon workout right around noon, I like to go in the refrigerator and get me some yogurt, low-fat yogurt, throw some of those wonderful pistachios in there, and I am good to go. Packs a protein bunch, and it's filling as well. It's going to keep you full for the rest of the day, so you're not going to go back and forth to the icebox or the refrigerator or whatever you got. So The no shells, wonderful pistachios are really good for those grab and go days. If you just want to grab some and go some, whether you're dropping off the kids between meetings, wonderful to have some of those in your desk. Wonderful pistachios. Get snackin, get crackin. The snack that packs a protein punch, and you always want to get healthy, and that's what these guys do. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com, wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Before we go any further, you get our podcast on Google, Spotify, Apple, wherever you download your podcast. We're there. We're the number one Brewers podcast on the internet because of you great Brewer fans out there. Put us in that position of being the number one podcast. Go to our growing YouTube page, search Locked On Brewers, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. That alerts you every time we drop an episode. There's alerts, I'm sure, on your audio podcast as well. So if you listen to us on the audio, please go to YouTube and subscribe there as well. If you're a subscriber on YouTube, go to the audio platforms and subscribe there. Get it any way you want, but it's all free. And it's all free. And I'm here, Chuck Freeman, Freimund, on my Twitter account. Anytime you want to drop me a message, I know some of you guys are taking advantage of it, and I'll always get back to you. Always love hearing it. And I heard from a lot of people the other day telling me where they're from listening to this podcast. I have had 8 people message me from the UK. I didn't realize maybe the Brewers shouldn't be playing a game overseas because that might be one less home game. But yeah, for those guys over there overseas, maybe so. You know, they'll never put the Brewers overseas. I talked about that a few weeks ago when the Cubs went to Japan. The Brewers will never be on one of those excursions. But man, maybe the Brewer front office, the marketing department needs to know that there's a lot of Brewer fans in the UK. I hear from you guys all the time. That you guys, when I drop this at night, you are watching or listening to it in the morning. Very, very cool. All right, batting averages. I talked to you about Churio turning it around. Turang's hitting 320. Churio's up to 286. Frelick, 273. Ortiz, he had a base hit. He's at 208. Now, here are the guys who got to turn it around. Rhys Hoskins is hitting 133. He had a great spring training. And I did not like the fact that he did not start. Well, he did start. I did not like the fact he was lifted for a pinch hitter. Sorry, he did start 2 nights ago. I didn't like the fact that Bowers pinch hit for him. I don't like that. There's a right-hander on the mound. Bowers struck out, but I don't ever want to see Bowers pinch hit. I know he hit the home run in the playoffs last year, but Hoskins is a top-of-the-line guy. They treat him sometimes like he's a platoon guy. And no, they're paying him $18, $22 million with the $4 million buyout to be an everyday guy. Right-hander out there late in the game. I want Hoskins at the plate. I don't care if he's hitting 133. Don't make me go on my Rhys Hoskins chant again or my tirade. Rhys, get him in there. Let him play every day. You didn't even want Bowers. You signed him on a minor league deal. How come he's pinch hitting for Rhys Hoskins? My gosh. Hoskins, 2 for 15. Probably explains the reason why. But I feel like if he was 8 for 15, they'd still be pinch hitting for him. Christian Yelich struck out with the bases loaded. Go-ahead run at third in the 7th inning. The inning, one of the 2 innings where they had the bases loaded, nobody out. Yelich is 2 of 17, batting 118. He hit the home run 2 nights ago, but he's been brutal at the plate. Brutal. Contreras, I don't know what's wrong with Contreras. He's 2 for 20 with 8 strikeouts. You know he's better than this. You just never feel good now. And Contreras used to feel always great when he came to the plate. Oh, Contreras is at the plate. Fantastic. Contreras is in a major, major slump. Other than that, we're not going to go through everybody. Oliver Dunn still doesn't have a hit for the team through 7 at-bats. Vinny Capra, he's batting 176. Vinny Capra keeps hitting 176. He's going to be he won't be on this team. They can't afford to have a guy hitting 176, but plenty of season to turn it around. But for some of these guys, time is short. Ike Collins, by the way, how many of you were surprised when Ike Collins was in the 3-hole on Wednesday afternoon? I guess nothing ever surprises me when Brewer managers make out their lineups. Like the times when Ned would put, or it would be Renicky that would put Council in the 3-hole. Like you get to the ballpark on an afternoon game. They got their Sunday night Councils in the 3-hole, huh? Ike Collins in the 3-hole. And, but he's hitting well. He's 4 of 9 on the season, batting .444. So Ike Collins. Brewers love them some Mike Collins, I always say. Mark Attanasio said something interesting today, that the Brewers might be eyeing up somebody to sign. Yes, hold on to your hats. They might be signing somebody, a pitcher nonetheless. Scott Boras client. I'm giving it away. I'm giving the tease away before I actually get to the story. We'll get to, well, I tell you what, we're going to get to that right now. We'll get to that before we go to the commercial spot. Mark Attanasio was speaking out at Carroll during the Brewer game today. Or it might have been right before. It was during the midday. And at his Carroll visit, he said that, and I'm surprised he let this out. He said, a Scott Boras client is going to be working out for the Brewers in their bullpen, getting a workout in. So here we are in the press box today, feverishly looking for names. It's like, who would they possibly be interested in? That was interesting. And if we know a name, I'm just not going to spit out names here. I'm not going to, because if I start spitting out Scott Boras clients, this will be a 60-minute podcast. But the Brewers apparently, according to Attanasio, and I don't know why would say something like this, but he did, that they're looking at a Scott Boras client to work out for them here in the near future. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Oh, one other note. Trevor McGill coming in, going 1-2-3 in the 9th inning. Trevor McGill, he struck out the side. He struck out the side. I believe a runner did get on base. Yeah, I think he stranded a runner at second. But he did strike out the side of the 9th inning. Looks like he's got his good stuff too. Looks like he's ready. And most importantly, he's been healthy. And that's always the key to him. How about Turang, though? Laying down that bunt single. Oh, he's great to send you home. Reminds me of 1987 when B.J. Surhoff against the Yankees. I know some of you guys are going to remember this. But anytime I see a bunt single, a bunt to finish off a game, I think of when B.J. Surhoff in 1987 against the Yankees laid down a bunt single with the bases loaded in the bottom of the 9th inning for the game-winning hit. His rookie year, B.J. Surhoff, former number 1 pick of the Milwaukee Brewers. All right, we come back. Something the Brewers got to fix at the ballpark. I've noticed this. They never fix it. And we'll look ahead to the Cincinnati series. All that coming up next. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Monarch Money. You want to save some money? Us here, we go out to eat entirely too much. And Monarch Money shows that. Says where you spend on online shopping, entertainment, dining out, all that. For us, it's dining out. Easy to do, dining out. That's what we do. She and I never cook. We end up going to someplace. But Monarch Money tells us, hey, that's where you're spending your money. That's where all your income is going to. Your personal CFO, Monarch Money, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. You'll be surprised what you spend your money on. And you'll know that when you go to Monarch Money and give them a tryout. 50% off your first year when you use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Monarch Money. MONARCH money.com. Use that promo code LOCKEDONMLB. You're going to get half off your first year. You'll track all your accounts there. Investments, everything, all in one spot. It'll help you manage your money and start building wealth. That's what we're all trying to do. Keep our head above water. Start building wealth. It's a complete financial command center. Monarch Money. Again, 50% off your first year when you use that promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. The Reds come to town. Reds lost back-to-back games to the Texas Rangers. 1-0. 1-0. Not making fun of them because we certainly have been there. The Reds are 2-4. 2-4. And this is their first, they've played all 6 of those games at home. Now they're going on their first road trip of the season. And they're heading to Milwaukee for a first of 4 on Thursday night. Nick Lodolo pitches. Left-hander. Guy who's just trying to stay healthy. He pitched pretty good in his first outing of the year. It's a second turnaround. 6 innings, 2 earned runs in his outing. But starting pitching has really been the story for the Reds early on. They're not hitting, but starting pitching. They've been in every game, all 6 of their games. The win or lose, they've been in every one of these games. They're not getting blown out. They're in all these games. And I think the Reds are a dark horse in the NL Central. Said before the season, the Cubs are going to be there. The Cubs won again on Wednesday. The Brewers are going to be there. And I think the Reds are going to be the dark horse. Although the Cardinals won again, they're now 4. They're 4-2 now too. So, but anyway, the Reds come to town first of 4 with a night game, 6:40. Love these 6:40 starts they're doing. They used to just do it in the spring, but they're doing it year round now. 6:40 on weekday night games. And the Brewers are 1-0 at the night in the night games so far. Nestor Cortez pitches from Milwaukee. Nestor, and we know how bad he was on Saturday. He started the string of 3 straight days of bad pitching. I just feel like Nestor Cortez pitched the other day, and his number's already coming up. Second time through the rotation, Cortez, the 5 home runs, 3 homers on 3 pitches against the Yankees on Saturday. Let's hope that he does not groove anything to Elliot De La Cruz, who's leading the Reds in average, by the way, through the first week at 333. But Nestor Cortez, how do you think he's going to do? Why, he can't be as bad as he was the other day. And if he is bad, or if he gets shelled, that sparse crowd out at AmFam Field. There was a sparse one there today, too. I don't know if it's cold weather or what. Last 2 nights. But I feel like the attendance has been down a little bit the last 2 nights. April, I feel like they announced 18,000 on Tuesday night. There wasn't 18,000. I don't remember what they announced today, but it was a sparse crowd, I thought, on hand. Maybe it could have been the 0-4 start. I don't know. But sure was loud, though. Sure was loud on the hand from Peralta, and especially when Brice Turang laid down the bunt. So a pair of 2 and 4 teams go at it, trying to catch the first place St. Louis Cardinals, who blew a lead and then ended up destroying the Angels to end their 2-game skid. I said something needs to replace. Are they ever going to fix the sound system at AmFam Field? You can't hear anything. You really can't. It's terrible. With all the repairs that they always do at AmFam Field, does anybody ever think, let's fix the PA system? It's just brutal. And it's like wherever you sit, it's bad. It's especially bad where we sit. Like I'll sit we're behind home plate on Friday night, but the club section or the loge section, God, it's awful. It's muffled. It's like County Stadium back in 1987. That's how bad the audio. And it's never been good. It's been bad from the very beginning. Please fix the audio, because when the player's talking and they're doing some random contest with a player on there, William Contreras, what do you like better, snow or rain? What's your favorite restaurant? They ask, they do something like that with a player every game to keep the fans' attention towards the game. But you can't understand. You got to read on the board what he says, because you can't hear him talk because the PA system is so bad at AmFam Field. Fix that PA system. Like that should have been done yesterday. All right, everybody. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Locked On Brewers. Brewers got to win. Again, they go 3-1 against the Reds this weekend, starting on Thursday. They'll be back to the 500 mark against the Rockies, and they can get fat against the Rockies maybe next week. But the first thing is they got to get back to the 500 mark after digging themselves in an 0-4 hole. Can they take 3 of 4 from the Reds? Honestly, I just want them to split. Of course, you want them to take 3 of 4, but Reds aren't a bad team. They're going to turn their offense around. They have McClain. Kid has got 3 home runs so far in the year, but just can't lose a series like this to the Reds. Drop 3 or 4, or God forbid, get swept against these guys. But hold your own. Stay within the 500 mark in this division, especially while you try to get healthy, try to get all these pitchers back. And which with each day that goes by, and you're competitive and you're winning games and you're staying in the race somewhat early in the season. But like I said, you can certainly lose the pennant in April if you get off to just a terrible start. But some of these guys are eventually going to come back. They're eventually going to get healthy. But encouraged the last 2 days because they pitched so well. Led by Freddy Peralta, who was ace-like on Wednesday afternoon. All right, we'll see you after the game late night, Thursday night. We'll be right back here. Locked On Brewers. Catch us here, Locked On Brewers on Google, Spotify, Apple, our growing YouTube page. Search Locked On Brewers. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell. That'll alert you every time we drop an episode on Locked On Brewers. And, of course, our Twitter account, Chuck Freeman, FREIMUND. Chuck Freeman, Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day.